Hi, and welcome back to the Chew Over podcast. I'm Nick,
And I'm Jake.
and today we're going to be talking about some UK news that grabbed our attention in the last hour or so.
The
truth. The first story we have is Indian variant surge tackled as restrictions ease. The second story is reminders on rise as WhatsApp update deadline looms. And last but not least is new emergency text alerts to be trialed. The Indian variant. So it seems that there are 3 places in the UK in particular that are being afflicted more than others.
I think it's around council estates, wasn't it? Something.
Yeah, I'm just having a look into it. I literally read it like an hour ago.
Yeah, it's just going to be more dense areas. It doesn't seem that worrying. I think the jabs that we have are already effective against it.
Yeah, which is really fortunate. I've heard that as well. Apparently, that all the vaccines that have come out for COVID have also been really good with the sister strains, which is really good to hear. I can't imagine what it would be like if you or someone you knew got COVID and then for whatever reason you got strain number 2 afterwards. That would just be bloody awful.
I mean, we're lucky today. Obviously, we can now go and have a pint inside a pub from today.
I know. I'll be working inside a pub tomorrow night, which is a weird thing for me to consider.
You'll probably have fun.
I hope so. I hope it kind of gets me out of my funk.
Yeah. I mean, just on a side note with the easing, it seems like the shops aren't really being taken in. I'll put an extra thing in the description if people want it, and it's just talking about how the shops are doing with the easing. Hopefully, it's going to pick up a bit more than it is. Seems like there was quite a peak when everything first opened, but now it's just kind of settled down again.
Yeah, sorry, bear with me just one moment. I'm just having some technical difficulties.
What did you ask it to do?
Record the Zoom meeting, but it's like, you have no disk space. And I'm like, oh, for f***ing sake, I forgot I have no disk space left. So I just basically cleared a bunch of random shit that I don't think I'll need. I just basically went to my downloads folder, scrolled to the bottom, and I was like, this square of items is probably useless. So I just deleted it and sent it to empty the recycle bin. But yeah, it serves me right for buying a computer with only 256 gigabytes of storage or something.
Stick a bigger drive in it.
Yeah, that involves migrating all the shit over.
You haven't got that much, surely.
Well, I had about 256 gigabytes of stuff, which isn't a lot, but just pain in the arse.
Probably 200 gigabytes of that is video recordings.
Speaking of video recordings, we have a WhatsApp story coming up now in which it talks about your privacy and privacy policies that you have to agree to continue using the app. I mean, it doesn't really affect people in the UK as far as I'm aware.
I think how the data is used won't be affected, but basically this is all like they asked a long time ago if people were happy with this, and everyone said no, we don't want you to change the way that it works, and they're going to force the update anyway. Anyone who isn't opting in, they're going to lose functionality of the app, which I think is really cheeky. I mean, like you say it does not apply in Europe and the UK where different privacy laws exist, but it doesn't say what the differences are and how this will affect us in Europe, UK. So yeah, we need to dig into that really and find out.
The loss of functionality begins with unable to see chat lists. So I'm guessing chat lists is like your contacts, right? So you normally in your phone you'd have your contacts, and then they'd migrate over to the WhatsApp, and that's your chat list, right?
Well, we know when you go in, like one of the tabs is chats.
Yeah.
And one of them would be like my name, for example.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I guess that's the kind of thing you won't see. But
so that, and then also no video calls. I mean, that's a really big deal. I mean, I wonder, iPhone users, for instance, they have that all built into their ecosystem. Is it not iMessage, FaceTime?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
their biggest competition, you know.
I mean, well, maybe. I mean, WeChat is probably one of their biggest competitions, Chinese version. But
I mean, that's got its own privacy issues, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure they do. The only thing with FaceTime is it only really works with other people that have Apple phones.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's 100% what it is. It's meant to be kind of this inside thing where like you can actually call iPhones for free as long as like it was a really big thing when they released it, but obviously now everyone can call everyone for free. But remember, like people would like just call each other if they had an iPhone because it was cheaper than actually using minutes back in the day.
Well, it's like iMessage as well. iMessage was free. But I
Yeah,
think
you
there's
could message other iPhone users.
well, there's a workaround that now. I think there's an app you can get as like an Android user, and then you can send iMessages. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, I don't know if there's one that works for the video calling, but yeah, there is a way around it for the messages, from what I've read.
No, I don't know because depending on how much that third party companies start imposing on my rights and things, I may switch over to Apple, you know, switch over to iPhone.
Really?
It's not out of the question. It's not out of the cards because like the thing that Apple have going for them is okay, their hardware may not be as good, but their optimization is really on point, especially with a lot of the social media apps. Like
It's
for
just
the longest time,
It's just overpriced. It's overpriced. That's the thing.
I probably wouldn't go for like the latest couple of models. I'd probably go 2-3 generations back.
Like, well, I mean, like an iPhone 8 is good.
Yeah, iPhone 8.
Pretty modern. I mean, what they're now, like 12 Pro or something?
I think they stopped with numbers, haven't they? Isn't it just the Pro X or something? I don't even know.
That's 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, so what do you think the average person will do with this notification from WhatsApp?
I think they probably accepted it a long time ago. I probably saw it first thing in the morning and I was like, I'll accept, and didn't even read it. Like,
yeah, they're getting more. They're getting more like common.
To read the EULA for every company you sign up to use a service for.
Fine, you don't want to be part of this, then just sign right here. No, you didn't read it.
You're trying to tell me you're not reading the terms of service?
I didn't read it.
People knock on your door like, right, we're here to take all your furniture. What?
Put the clip of the South Park thing in with the iPad. It's like with the iTunes update.
Yeah, I like the iPhone from Futurama as well.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes. I was sure it was going to have a sequel to that episode because of the cliffhanger they left it on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's the future of phones.
Yeah.
It projects in your eye. Other people won't be able to see it though. Like it projects on the inside of your eyeball or something.
Well, it's like Daddy Elon's already making the Neuralink, isn't he, with the chimps and trying to.
Yeah, that's really brutal. Like, I mean, it's really interesting, but they obviously wired a chimp's brain. It's like.
I think didn't they do it non-invasively with that chimp thing? No, did they not?
They had to cut him open.
I love how like he can get away with murder, literally. Like shampoos can't get away with animal testing, but Elon he gets a big wide berth because he sends rockets to the moon.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what do you think he's going to try and get away with once he gets to Mars? He'll have his own. He'll be the emperor of Mars, won't he? Until the U.S. space agency or something gets there.
I was going to say, own like a corporation. Like, there's an agreement in international law that no corporations or countries can own a part of space. And I was like, the first thing Elon's going to do when he gets to any part of space is be like, "This is mine now. This is my flag." Like, the thing is, when I see him on the surface, I'm like, this guy looks like a stand-up guy, and then I'm like, yeah, but all of these things that he's done, and there's like a whole list of like, it's just like a massive magnifying glass because I like how this podcast has just turned into slating on Elon Musk every episode. Sorry. He's there's like a massive magnifying glass because of all the wealth and money he has. So like you can scrutinize his everything. It's like when he opened up the Tesla factory like at peak pandemic, or when he started like going off on that guy that saved all those kids in that underwater, like they were trapped in Thailand. Do you remember that story?
Oh yeah, in the flooded cave, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say underwater cave, but it wasn't accurate. Yeah, and it's just a whole list of things that you can Google. I can put a link in the description. This is gonna be all links today. But yeah, he's such a questionable person.
He's got some great ideas, and we're really lucky to have him. I don't think he has the same level of morality as a lot of people.
Like I always say, out of all the billionaires, he's one of them.
Yeah, well, they've all got a slight lack of morality, really, haven't they? Because you don't become a billionaire by giving away things for free. You can become a billionaire by exploiting other people, essentially.
No, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you do all the hard work. That's basically what a billionaire does, though, isn't it? They exploit situations for monetary gain and find people to believe in the product.
Yeah, you just get a small loan of $1 million and then, buy a few small corporations and then sell them for more than they're worth.
Like XPay, was it X.com that you started, which turned into PayPal?
Yeah, I think that's initially where his first kind of bit of money came from, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think his parents own like an emerald mine in South Africa or something.
That probably helps. Speaking of Orwellian system controlled by the government, text directly from the government.
Yeah, so this actually utilizes a technology called mobile broadcast technology, which basically makes sure that it's secure, free to receive, and one way. I kind of think it's a bit of an oxymoron to have secure government texts, if you know what I mean, because who are they secure from?
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's going to receive them, like, what's the point of them being secure?
I guess it's more important that the network itself can only be accessed by a specific point. I guess that would be secure because you don't want to get like some 13-year-old that finds a way into the system and decides to like prank text alert everyone. But knowing that it's a government initiative really brings faith that it will be abused by a 13-year-old because, as we all know, government contracts are given out to the lowest bidder. So, yeah, I'm proud.
Yeah, that happened as well. I can't remember now. Was it like the FBI or the NSA? One of them, they're obviously all working from home. One of them left their computer up, and their kid sent some like tweets from like the official account or something.
That's jokes.
Which is literally what you're saying. But yeah. I hope it's really old school. So like 4 people have to like be in a room and all turn keys at the same time so they could send this like mass message out.
Like basically like nuclear launch codes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or like you have to take 12-hour shifts, so one person has to be in the box. The door closes behind them, so the other person can't get out. I can't remember what I saw that on. I don't know if that's a real thing or if it's just like a sci-fi thing.
See, I mean, it says so New Zealand already uses this kind of system. And they're already doing a trial. Well, they're going to be doing a trial in East Sussex from the 25th of May. So that's only about a week away.
That's the best Sussex.
And then Reading a week later, 2 weeks later.
Oh, that's really close to home.
And then next to the world.
How do you feel about government notifications?
Seems kind of pointless to me. I mean, I go out of my way to ignore the news as much as I can.
Says the news podcast host.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I search out the news that I want to hear.
This is news for people that care. I am in two minds of it. On one hand, I would like to know if there's an emergency, because at the bottom, this does say that you can opt out if you choose to. And I like how it says the government recommends that people do not opt out. That's probably because you spent a fortune on this app, and it would be completely redundant if all your messages weren't being received. It just seems like, I mean, I'm already anxious enough. Like, I'm being watched all the time. Like, regardless of being on the computer, on the phone, just being out and about, it feels like there's never a moment to myself. You know, and this just kind of adds to that paranoia. I think that, I don't know. I feel like we should try to get the community back together. Like, I'm gonna stop saying like. It's bugging me. We don't have town hall meetings or anything, as far as I'm aware. I think they're all online as well. Like, if you're district council or parish council, I think we need to kind of concentrate on the smaller governments and get to know our communities more before we, start rolling out all this stuff.
Well, there are councils and things already. You can get involved if you want to. I mean, I don't like. When was the last time we had like a national emergency?
I think it was 2019 of. Sorry, December 2019.
What happened then?
COVID hit.
Yeah, but I don't think that anyone needed to receive a text message to hear about it.
No, not really. Everyone just got sent home from work, didn't they?
Well, it was national news for about a week, and everyone was like, feels like something's happening here. And then 3 months later, we were locked down? I mean...
Well, it depends if they can localize it at all, because I would have thought you could say only text people within this region, because if like a part of... I mean, again, if you're in a part that's flooding, why would you need to be told that you're in a flood? I guess it'd be nice to know if you're in like the neighboring areas that you may be getting flooded soon. But yeah, I don't know. England just seems really tame. It's all fun and games.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's kind of weird. We don't really have any big problems here. Like, we don't have big fires. We don't have big floods. I mean, like you say, if it's localized, then there's definitely value in that. Small places do flood. The thing is, most people that are in areas that flood know they're in an area that floods.
Exactly. Like, even if an earthquake hit, I mean, what you're going to, like, what good is it to be informed that an earthquake? Like, maybe if you had like a half an hour warning, but how would you even detect that? How would you?
I mean, they can kind of get a pre-warning, can't they? But
meteor.
We don't have them that big.
Yeah, the unlikely meteor strike might be a nice heads up.
Yeah, I got some interesting news on that actually. Scientists recently did some models looking at what would happen when a meteor strike, and they concluded 100% that we don't have the technology to stop it.
I love it. Oh,
that's just what you want to hear, isn't it?
I guess like, yeah, you have to be way more educated than me to figure that out. But I would have thought that you'd need high impact explosive, but the further away it is, the less impact it's going to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just need like Mel Gibson and the Freedom and the Independence ships, isn't that the guys?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, that's I mean, to be fair, how many? Well, no one would be able to say it if it happened, but how many people do you know of in history that died of a meteor? It's a pretty cool way to go. Like, you could have like Nick Ledger died of a meteor.
I think there was a person that got hit by like a really small fragment or something. I'd have to look it up. But like, if you're looking at all of known human history, and that's like one person.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty cool way to go. It's like, I don't know. There's probably worse ways to go. I guess though, it depends on your perspective. Let's hear in the comments from you. How would you like to die? Such a bad take.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I think we pretty much covered that, to be honest, didn't we?
Yes. That was a quick one.
Easy news
You're
this
going to
week.
need to send me your video because mine cut off like halfway.
Excellent. This should be fun.
I don't mind at all.
I'd just like to say thanks to the 2 people that actually watched this. That aren't me.